Support for this podcast comes from UTSA. UTSA's graduate school has a top-tier program for your field of study and offers outstanding opportunities for hands-on research and scholarly publishing. The academic community of UTSA features a world-class faculty, a professional development center, and mentoring programs to contribute to your future success. UTSA, the University of Texas at San Antonio. Visit utsa.edu/graduate to learn more or apply.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. West.
How you doing, sir?
Man, I am doing fine. Outside playing in the snow, throwing snowballs.
Oh, really? Oh, y'all celebrating snow style then over there, huh?
I'm telling you, man, when winter comes, you have to be happy and just put a smile on your face because you're going to have to dredge through it.
That's right. And you know what? You're right, because that means that you made it that far.
That's right. That's right. And, man, I've been listening to your show and the music. I mean, I've been working really hard, and I'm like, man, that music there that guy plays, man, our brother station is on fire. Sundays is jazz.
Hey, man, I have to compete with the NFL, so, I got to bring my A game.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I'm getting ready to play your promo, and I'm just going to introduce you right after your promo.
I'll be right here.
Right now. Into the Twin Cities Radio Network. Now, you see how excited I got? I went on ahead and still had the verb on there. We tuned in to the Twin Cities Radio Network, and we are with my very, very special guest and friend, Mr. Don S. McClure. Don, how are you, man?
Man, I am great. And Wes, like I said, I'm enjoying at least getting my mind ready to enjoy the winter because it's here. So I got some snowball fights I got to have with my neighbors. I've got kids I got to torment and throw snowballs at them.
Oh, wow.
So I'm looking forward to the winter, man, and making some snowmen.
Wow. Yeah, sounds. I hear a little bit of snow bullyism in there too. Yeah. You're not gonna let those kids get you.
No.
But something that you said is that it's here. It's here, and when you said it, I can hear it, and not just because I know you, but probably anyone else heard a degree of acceptance, which is just the opposite. It's what is plaguing our people in these last few months. There's not a degree of acceptance, but there is a lot of denial, and I don't know if it's self-inflicted or conditioning. I don't know, but I don't even know if I want to go there to open up with you today, because, one of the things is, and I shared it with Sharon, I know that we're going to talk, so what I got to do is I got to get back to format and just talk about, first of all, Don S. McClure, the author.
Well, that sounds great to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things I think about being an author, and it kind of ties back into what you just previously talked about, whether it's acceptance or conditioning. Now, once we understand why authors are so important, because they play a great role in acceptance and conditioning. So, understand that. Then we understand how important the author is to our life, our grandchildren, our children's children, and our children's children. And I'm going to explain that. One of the notes I was looking at on my dialogue, and I said, how do we learn and remember stories? So we're going to talk about my story, Santa Claus versus the Aliens, but we're also going to talk about why I create those moral value stories and how important it is for people to latch on and get those stories. But being an author is one of the most crucial jobs that you could ever have in the shaping of any culture.
I could see that. I mean, because, again, me, already a nerd, and to, author, I just realized this week You know, I mean, 'cause, I mean, I've been considered a nerd, you know, on a lot of levels, just a cool nerd. Just learned again this week, where it came to me that a bookworm was really a nerd,
Mm-hmm.
and deemed to be uninteresting and that sort of thing. But then there was a time, I mean, there was some point, you know, where smart became cool, didn't it?
Being smart has always been in. It's a matter of accepting that smart has always been in. Again, it's kind of like an oxymoron. What people are saying is, well, those are nerds. But the same people that they follow from the nerd concept that has always been nerds, the nerds are actually teaching them how to be a better person, and they don't realize it until they look back and say, so what was I reading? What was I studying? What was I looking at? It all came from somebody who was a nerd. Just like this. Okay, let's look at it like this. How do we learn and remember stories? Nerds create them. There was a man that nobody probably knows his name. There's probably a lot of people in the writing genre and the production genre. They know his name. Now, his story has influenced every culture in the world, not in Chicago, New York, America, in the world. The man was born May 15th, 1856. Now, listen to the date now. May 15th, 1856. He's born in a city I've never even heard of, Chitterango, Chittenango, New York. Now, this man is born in 1856. His original name is Lyman Frank Baum, B-A-U-M. He goes by the name of L. Frank Baum. He created The Wizard of Oz on August 25th, 1939, starring Judy Garland, who was born in 1922, and she was 17 years old when she got the role. Now, she died in 1969 at the age of 47. So, here's this man in New York, creates a children's story. Back in 1939, The Wizard of Oz was remade, retelling the same story, starring Michael Jackson and them 39 years later. Now imagine, he's telling the story to his kids. His children grow up, they're telling the story to their kids. Their grandchildren grow up, they're telling the story to their kids. So we take his story, a man born in 1856, who we didn't even know his name, and we say, let's create The Wiz, which is the black version of The Wizard of Oz. And we sing along with it, and we sing the songs, and we're telling this man's original story to our great children, to our great-great-grandchildren, to our great-great. Now, The Wiz Live came out in 2015, starring Queen Latifah, and they embark on this latest musical holiday tradition, a 3-hour live event production, and it's groundbreaking. But let's go back from 2015 to 1856 when the idea is not even ready yet. And then in 1939, now count the years, from 39 to 2015, we have been telling that same story and learning from it. We talk about the Yellow Brick Road. We talk about how they go there and try to find home and what home value is. So we're being influenced by a nerd who told a story in 1939, and we continue to tell that story. And then we'll turn around and say, well, you know, we don't get any respect, but you don't see us taking our stories like The Wizard of Oz and reproducing and reproducing and reproducing and recreating and getting Tony Awards. So when we talk about that, we have to look back and people say, well, Don, where'd you learn how to write from? From guys like L. Frank Baum, which is why I want to be like a black Walt Disney, which is why I wrote the story Santa Claus versus the Aliens. And it's starring a black postman and his girlfriend, KK. And so this year, I'm telling the story again. Next year, I'm doing the characters on ice, just like everything else that other cultures did, because I'm following that trend of thought. So I'm a nerd, and I'm telling a story. Now, the song called Home, in The Wizard of Oz 1975 original cast, Stephanie Mills sang the song. Took you right back to the story that Frank L. Baum created that nobody knew his name. So when people say, well, I never heard of Don S. McClure, I never heard of something. You never heard of L. Frank Baum, but you tell his stories. Better yet, let's take Snow White. It's a 19th century, now listen to what I'm saying, a 19th century German fairy tale, which today is widely known across the world. Now, it's written by two brothers that I grew up liking their stories, the Brothers Grimm. It was first published in 1812. 1812, it comes out as part of the collection of the Grimm's fairy tales. Now, as we look back, the fairy tale features such elements as magic, mirror, the poison apple, glass coffins. What we have is somebody saying, don't treat your niece bad. Don't treat your family bad. And if you're an outcast, your evil auntie or your evil cousin shouldn't abuse you. They should enjoy having you around.